My mom used to say that nothing good happens after dark. But you know what? In my life, I've actually found that I've learned the opposite. Sometimes the best things happen after dark. The conversations that we have, that we avoid in the daylight, the truths that men bury, the whispers that women talk about, the things that we're all thinking, but no one dares to say. Well, Gloves Off After Dark is where we bring all of that out into the open, the bold, the seductive, the unfiltered. It's not just a show about men, it's a space for men and women to face what's real and maybe, just maybe, co create something healthier. I'm your host, Dr. Kalpa Sandar, and no, I'm not doing this alone. With me is my co host, Joshua T. Bergland. He is known as the world's mayor, and I chose him for a very specific reason because his life is very different than mine. And, well, of course, he's a man, so that helps. And our perspectives may not always match, and that's exactly why these conversations matter. Tonight's topic: the weight of silence. What happens when men are not allowed to express their emotions, their fears, their shame, all of that? Well, you know what? It takes a toll. And we're going to find out on Gloves Off After Dark. So let's welcome my co host, Joshua Bergland, and we are going to get into it.
What a subject this is going to be.
I know. I can't wait.
Oh my gosh, I have so much to say about this one too.
Oh, I know you do. And that's why I thought it was a great topic. I was like, this is something that's going to shake people up. And it's important, you know? So, just for those of you out there, I mean, obviously, this is a topic that you and I are going to talk about, but it's especially important to me because I have two sons, two
Hmm.
adult sons. And, I've seen this firsthand from a mother's perspective. So now I get to hear it from a man's perspective.
A very complicated man's perspective.
Oh yeah, well that's what makes it so layered, and I love that. So what comes to mind when I say that? The weight of silence. Men are not supposed to express their fears, their emotions. What comes to your mind when I say that?
It's in the how, because I'm all about the voiceless having a voice. Like, and no one should be silenced. No one. At the same time, truth matters. And there's this fine line. Like, I'm somebody that comes from a place of rage and trauma. And that's how all my relationships was. Everything was a trauma response. And
Hmm.
so me using my voice was out of panic, out of fear, out of not from a grounded, sincere place. So what I was saying was, it was toxic. So, it's tough not having a voice, but when you're saying negative things and you're just spewing nothing but nasty things, it's like, you're causing more harm than good. So I think it's in how you say it. And that's one thing that I've had to learn. And since I've stopped disassociating and my mental health has gotten better, I
Hmm.
I've learned how to deal with conflict and deal with things that maybe I don't like, or reversing triggers. And so what I've learned through that healing process is there's a lot I don't need to say, but it takes work and time to learn how to say things the right way so that you're not stoking the fires. And I'm so grateful for the woman that I'm dating now, who serves as a very powerful mirror that holds me accountable, also takes no crap. So if I'm being sensitive or dramatic, I'm not going to get the response I need. That's good on her. And that's teaching me how to be a better communicator, and also make sure I'm really thinking through what I'm about to say before I say it. In other words, I'm not speaking from a reaction, but I'm speaking from a place that's grounded, that's true, and not out of emotion. Because honestly, I'm an emotional, passionate guy, but that leads me into some really dangerous things. And so one of the things I've learned to balance is to contain it a little bit, but also wait before I respond. And that's been huge.
Such a great point you bring up, but that is not a thing that's only for men. That
Not
happens. That's the same. That's something you and I share. I'm also very passionate and very emotional. And I've learned over the years what not to say and to hold back a little bit and to say it in a different way. So I've gone through that same journey. And, my trauma response was, I think, very different than yours. But trauma is, I don't know, I think it comes out in the same way no matter how you've dealt with it.
I mean, it can. I mean, some people deal with their trauma responses with, like for me, my trauma response was drugs and sex.
Hmm.
Like that became the cure all. So if I was mad, angry, happy, sad, that drugs and sex were my thing. So, but some people that are sexually abused and physically abused take a different route. Like maybe they become asexual, maybe they shut down, maybe they become introverted. I
Mm.
became socially slutty, meaning I needed all the attention that I could get. Whether it was sex, I didn't care who it came from. I just wanted to feel like I was loved and I had value, or whatever it may be that I was searching for that moment. Like I needed that fix, and mine came from sex and drugs. And so that's not healthy. But not everybody responds in that way. It's differently, but nonetheless, anything that any way that we react or respond that is not true to ourselves, I think it kind of leads us to some pretty dark places, regardless, whatever the trauma response is.
I would agree with you there. So let's just put this out there. Your trauma response was at least more fun than mine.
It
Okay.
was, I mean,
I mean, well, I don't know. It sounds more fun. I don't know if it was, but it sounds it.
it was
My,
dangerous and risky. So I'm not going to promote chemsex abuse, but I
true.
mean, yeah, it's obviously fun until it's not.
And that's a really it's and that's really good because of course somebody listening to this may think it's all fun and exciting, but that's what you're here to show us that it's not necessarily.
Hold on, really quick before we move on from this. I want to make this part clear: 6 overdoses, multiple times in jail, HIV.
Yeah.
Like, there's consequences for it. There's
And I'm
consequences. Broken marriages, broken homes, losing my twins when they were young and had to give it up for adoption. There's consequences.
I love that you
Oh,
said that. I love that you said that because I kind of purposely just said that it was fun just to see what you'd say. Of course, I'm, trying to get it out of you. And I want people to know that because there is a cost of everything that we decide to do. Now, I'd say my trauma response was a little different because I grew up in a home that I just never was given love without I had to earn it. I always had to earn it. I was not given love unconditionally. So I thought that love had to be earned, meaning that I had to behave a certain way. I had to do certain things to be loved, to be appreciated, to be worthy. So that was my trauma response. And I went the other way and, didn't do like those things, but I was an overachiever, a workaholic, and filled with so much rage, and I didn't know that for the longest time. And I am really working on becoming not, I guess people would still look at me and say I'm an overachiever, but it's happening differently. I'm kinder to myself. I'm happier with what I do. I only do things that I'm aligned with. So this is what I'm saying, that things can look very different, but have a similar origination point.
yeah, 100%.
So now, do you think that the trauma response? I mean, how did you start by being silent, or did you feel like you had to be silent? Where did that come from?
Well, I think we talked about this in the first episode I did with you. For me, that's where I learned to lie, because it was, if you say anything about what I mean, this is from being molested.
Mm,
It started with the molesting. Like, if you say anything, again, I'm not going to get explicit, but it was awful. Like the threats and the fear. But honestly, the other part of the learning to lie was protecting what was happening in my own home, like keeping those secrets. And it's so interesting. And I brought this point up the last time, but it's when our parents are telling us to be honest and tell the truth, but then telling us to keep the secrets of what's happening and to lie about what's really happening in the house. That's very confusing for children. Kind of like pretending that Santa Claus or like, like Christmas is Jesus's birthday, like that lie. We can celebrate Jesus, but we don't need to lie about his birthday. Like, I don't understand these little things, but I know that that's probably nitpicking, but that's traumatic. Think about when kids first find out that Santa Claus isn't real. like what that does to them, especially when you've gaslit them death, like you better be good or Santa Claus is not going to bring you gifts. It's no different than if you say anything about what's happening to you, I'm going to kill you and your family. It's the same thing. I know it's dramatic, but a lie is a lie. And in the mind, it's the same. I don't care, because if you'll lie about Santa Claus, you're going to lie about what else? Or you're going to keep this a secret. And that in itself, I can think about all the things that happened to me, all the sexual abuse, the physical abuse, the abandonment, all of it. I can think about learning to lie was the most toxic, awful thing I ever learned in my life. That's why I'm so crazy about the truth right now, because I know how freeing it is. I can talk about, I mean, I don't even label my sexuality because I don't even care what it is. I don't care about, I'm known as the world's mayor, but I really don't put myself in any boxes. And if you understood what the world's mayor means, there's no box in that. It has nothing to do with me. So I don't like those labels and those things and putting myself in a box. But the thing is, the truth set me free to be me unapologetically. And I love my life. I'm 46 years old and I'm finally in love with my life at 46. You can do it much, much sooner, but it starts with truth.
That like is a moment that we have to just sit and just let that sink in, because that is so true. And that's what's so cool about you and I. We come from very different backgrounds, but there is a convergence point with so many things that we talk. And this is what we realized very early on in our when we first talked. So everything you just said. So I'm 56 almost next month, and just now started to love my life. And I joke, I say, if you're not orgasmic about your life, well, you need to be, I mean, you need to be. And my life looked great on paper, but I was not excited about it. And so for me, the truth was shaped differently. So I always told the truth, weirdly. Yeah, yeah, I did. But you know what? I was always ostracized for it. People walked away from me. They don't like me. And then I just started to, I wouldn't say I started to lie. I started to dim it down. I started to dim myself down because I just was like, I'm too much for everybody. Oh my God, I'm too much, too much, too much. Got to just fit in some sort of box, make myself more palatable. So my journey was a little different, where I always told the truth, but maybe not in the realest way. And I'm learning to now own my truth and be unapologetic about it. And now I just tell the truth. And if I lose people, fine. If the people who are in my life love me for who I am, and it's actually a great thing. You wind up getting rid of all the people who don't belong in your life very quickly. So I'm like, great, leave. Bye.
It's, I mean, honestly, having a lot of friends can be the most lonely thing someone, I mean, can experience.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's possible to have a bunch of really good quality friends that feed you, and or feed you as in feed you, not like feed you, but support you and elevate you. And like it seems complex. This said, I'm somebody that spends most of my time isolated, and I don't, like, I have a lot of friends that live all over the place, but like I don't hang out, I don't do stuff like that. So maybe my perspective is a little bit skewed. But when I meet people that have a bunch of friends, I'm like, that's stressful. like I don't know if I need that in my life. But at
Yeah.
the same time, having a core group of people, like, the inner circle, I guess.
Hmm.
Even I've never referred to my friends that way, but the people that are closest to me, it's different. They're all doing their thing. They're all pursuing their dreams because we're all like-minded. So we don't have time to chat on the phone like, high school friends. But we're in each other's lives. We elevate each other. We support each other in the way that we need to be supported. We hold each other accountable. That doesn't feel lonely. That feels loved. Having a partner, she's tough. She holds me accountable. She holds me to a higher standard. That makes me feel loved because that's what I want for myself. I don't want someone to tell me how pretty I am and how sexy I am and how talented I am. I mean, I do want to hear it every once in a while, but I also want my butt kicked to push me to be great. I don't know how I got off on that, but there you go.
No, no, I like that because that's another sticking point for me too. I mean, I meet people. I was actually telling my friend last night when I was talking to her, I said, I have a trigger When women are just like, "Oh my God, you're so awesome," I get that a lot. So that's actually the start of a very toxic friendship. I've noticed that that cycle has played out over and over again. So my friend, the one I was talking to last night, her name is Carla. She never started that way. But we do have a very massive admiration for each other and massive respect, but it's not that toxic BS. So she would just disagree with me and tell me the flat out truth, and I would do the same with her, but we're okay. That's what I want. And in the same way, I want a partner that's going to do the same thing to me. I find two types of men that I attract. Most of them are the ones that are kind of like the toxic woman, they're like, "Oh my God, you're so amazing," and ooh, the whole thing. And I mean, yeah, it feels good for like a week. And then I'm like, "Oh my God." Or the ones who are scared to fucking death and run the fuck away. And the minute they feel some surge of my power, and they're like, "Oh my God, that's way too much. Let me run away like a scared little boy." So that's usually what I find. It's one extreme or the other. And honestly, I am still waiting. I mean, I'm figuring if you found a woman who'll kick your ass and be honest with you, there's a man out there who could do it too.
I find though that most women are going I mean, because this similar mindsets like that you have, and the woman I'm seeing, and but even the people that I work with and the people that I counsel or coach or mentor, I see this shift happening in women, and or a lot of people that are, I don't know, that are traditionalists. The woman comes home, cooks, raises the kids. Like, I don't know that world. And my mom, it started that way in my life, but my mom became very successful in real estate, and she was already doing well in modeling. But when she started to do that, like, I saw my mom be a boss babe or whatever, like she is still a boss. I mean, she crushes it, right? So her mindset, I always saw relationships as you push each other to greatness, you push each other into your gifting. They're separate lives, but you also do together, but you're there to support each other and help each other pursue your dreams so no one feels like they're missing out on something.
Yeah.
So I like this shift. Now, a lot of people that are like, my woman needs to stay home, they don't like these changes. I personally love it because when a woman feels in, think about the type of, I mean, this is for the men. When a woman is empowered, how effing sexy is that? How attractive is an empowered woman?
Yeah.
Like, but you have to understand, for that woman to be empowered, there is no jealousy, there's no clinging, there's no, but you need to baby me. Like, you have to be a man to be with an empowered woman, because an empowered woman's going to crush your soul, because women are multipliers. And if you fight against that, you're breaking her of what her gifting is, but more importantly, you're robbing her of making you great too. Because an empowered woman, even though she's independent, will have the time to empower you too. And it will be by her own actions. It may not even be by her own words. It will be by the example that she sets. And if everyone talks about like attracts like, and you talk about you need to find a coach that does what you love, or there's someone that you admire and look up to, if you're not looking up to and admiring your partner, you're with the wrong person. You might as well get a prostitute. You might as well get on a sex app and just go hook up. But if you want a real partner to do life with, empower her. And if
So
she's seeking to pursue her dreams, support that instead of trying to break it.
So true. And this is where most men fail, because they want a mommy, they want something, they don't want a partner. They want to be baby, they want a mommy, they want somebody to fix them, all rescuers. None of that is what a real woman, not that's not what a real empowered woman wants. And you know
Right.
what, guys out there, let me tell you, when you empower your woman in life, let me tell you, there are consequences, positive ones, in the bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
There
Yep.
are. They don't know that, but that's because they're too busy doing, all the wrong things. And, but then they'll sit there and complain that it's not fun or it's not exciting. Well, because if a woman doesn't feel empowered, she's not going to come up and she's not going to show up in that way.
I'm going to be naughty really quick. This is
Do it.
about as naughty as I'm going to ever be in public. But because I really do try, because I work with the youth and other things, but we're talking to adults here. Um, Men have this primal thing where they want to there's something inherently where they think that they can. I'm not saying all men, but a lot of men, like, oh, well, I can go out and bang whatever I want, but then if their woman cheats, they get angry. Okay, but then men say, well, you won't do that thing that I like, or she doesn't fulfill me the way that I want. My question is this: are you empowering her? My question is, are you feeding her love tank? Because I will tell you this: I've seen a woman, women. Look, I think we should fill the love tank all the way up, but it seems so interesting to me that women seem so desperate in a good way to be loved and cared for and have their partner pour into them as they should. It's like if you give a woman like 50%, she's going to make it 100. So imagine if you truly pour and give your attention, you're not distracted by social media, you're not distracted by porn and other things. Like your focus is on your relationship, yourself, your career, things that are bettering yourselves. In that relationship, an empowered woman is going to do and give you, she's going to do that naughty thing that you're afraid to, that you go to a prostitute or you go cheat on, and then you're going, well, she won't do that thing. My bet is you weren't honest that you wanted to do it in the first place. And secondly, you're not feeding her love tank. And because you're scared to be honest about what you really want. And look, we're all kind of secret freaks. Like, we've all been jaded, and we've all been like, we've seen so much stimulus now. We are jaded sexually as a country for sure. Porn has done that. It's everywhere. You can't avoid it. You can't even be on Facebook and not see porn. You can't be on Instagram and not see porn. You can't be on TikTok. It's everywhere. Even if you try to avoid it, it's there in your face. So that stimulus is there. So we all have some different things now, but if we're honest about what we want and we're truly loving our partner and supporting them and empowering them, we're going to get all the things that we want. And odds are your partner probably has some freaky stuff she wants to do with you too. But if she doesn't feel safe, loved, and empowered, you're not going to see that.
Exactly. Exactly. And the rest just feels like an excuse, just to do whatever and not face the truth of
It's
what's
lazy.
actually
It's
happening.
lazy.
Yeah,
It's lazy and
lazy.
immature.
Yeah, because you don't have the guts to say it or really talk about it and have a mature conversation about it. I've always felt there's no rights or wrongs with whatever people want to do. Just make sure you're bringing it up and having a decent conversation about it. And whatever's good for two people, that's their own business. I'm not
100%.
here to judge. I don't care what people do, frankly. And, I know that's not popular opinion, but I don't care. And, recently I had this woman who judged me about something, and yet what she was doing was way worse. And that, well, in my opinion, and so it's just incredible. She judged me on somebody that I was seeing because there was an age gap. But what she was doing was pursuing the same age gap in the opposite direction, so she likes older men. I like them younger. And I'm just not afraid to say that. I don't care. Frankly, because I feel younger than I am and I
Right.
look younger than I am. So a 56-year-old man to me looks like 70 most of the time. I'm not saying that there are not exceptions out there, but I mean, the last guy I was dating, I was like, he wasn't as fit as me. He was same age as me. And I was like, dude, if we get into a fight, I'm going to have to protect me and you. And I don't like how that feels.
Well, you can actually fight though, so
Yeah.
like you know what you're doing.
I was like, I don't know. That isn't really kind of turning me on a whole lot. But so what she was judging me about was that. And she said, well, she just judged me like from, oh, it was awful. Meanwhile, I could have judged her for so many things. She was in rehab before she was 21. She was sleeping around at the age of 13, she's told me. She pursues older men so she can get a Birkin bag. I'm sorry. I thought that was way worse.
Well, I mean, I'm listening to this going, God, I did way worse than what she did. So I mean, it's like, and I turned my life around. But I
Yeah.
get what you're saying. Judging is
It's the judging part. It's
so
not what she
awful. It's
did.
just awful. Like, why? Because we
Right.
all, I don't know. I don't even know how judge. Like, I think people judge to make themselves feel better, but I don't really think it makes people feel better.
Mm-mm.
It,
Well, the irony was the fact that I could have judged her on all of those things because I live a very different life and never did any of those things. I could have completely judged her, but I never did. And then she comes back and she judges me. And I'm like, what in the world? I said, that was the end of that. I mean, that was the end of our friendship.
Yeah, I mean I don't know how I actually see, they always say the opposite sex can't be friends. They can if there's boundaries set.
Yeah.
I just don't know how people are friends with the same sex. Like that part is complicated to me because I women are not nice to each other. Like
Mm-mm.
it is awful. Like women do not support each other unless if it's like they've joined a cult, like it becomes this cult like thing, then they join that, but it's not rooted in reality. It's like the feminist movement was created by men. Like so like that's just blind sheep doing this. I'm all for women empowerment, but that swung the pendulum all the way to some other ridiculous place. I'm all for, I don't care if you're gay or trans or whatever you identify as, but this whole LGBTQITVVBB, SWVY, XWZT, that's a funded movement. It's a funded movement. So there's an agenda behind it. It's not about equality. It's a lie. I Look, I'm blessed to work with the UN. I get to speak at the UN. I get to do a lot of things with global organizations. I know the Agenda 2030 and the things that are happening right now. And it's like, it's also very, very obvious. There's just a lot of well funded movements to be able to push people into a certain way of doing things that is really unnatural and not for them. But the problem is, while all this is happening, it feels rapey to have these things pushed on us. We should instead be spending our money and our resources on empowering people to live the lives they were created to live. Because if you're living in purpose, you don't have time to be a racist, homophobic douchebag. In fact, when you're living in your purpose, you're seeking to elevate, you're seeking to make the world a better place, you're seeking to serve, you're not seeking to eliminate. So that gets rid of racism, that gets rid of discrimination and judgment. If our leaders in our media, instead of stoking the fires of division, start to bring people together and provide everyone equal opportunities instead of having this, I'm all for the wealthy, but at the same time, the system is also rigged against a lot of people as well. I know this for a fact, and there's changes coming. We are there's just all of this deception, but I really wish that we could create the space where we could celebrate each other's uniqueness and differences, because honestly, that's where we learn, that's where we grow, that's where we go, you know what, you're pretty interesting. Maybe I don't want to be on my phone at dinner during this conversation, because hearing what you have to say, even though I may not agree with it, or maybe I don't understand it, this is far more interesting than what's coming on my news feeds. So, anyway,
Well,
I'm like fired up about a lot of things right now. So there's no telling what's going to come out of my mouth.
I love it. Well, this is what Gloves Off After Dark is about. I like it when you're fired up. So one thing about, well, I want to go back to something you said about how can women even be friends with women. I have to tell you, all my life, it's been way harder for me to have relationships with women. I would say this relationship with my friend right now is probably the healthiest relationship I've ever had with a woman, because I could tell that nothing I do would offend her. I could be myself completely in my truth. This is rare, so I know this.
Yeah.
But I've always had an easier time with men. I've been grateful that I have two sons, because I don't know if what it would be like if I had a daughter. The boys are easy; they're super easy, and I don't have to be something different than I am. So I would. That's been my world, to be honest. So I agree with that. And as far as like really what you said about just accepting one another, I agree. I think if you're really living in your purpose, you don't have time to judge other people and be so closed minded. I love talking to people with different viewpoints because I learn things from them. I mean, I grew up thinking monogamy was the only way of life. That's what my parents said. And that's what, I was married for a long time. And then after I got divorced, I started talking to people with a lot of different viewpoints. And I always found it interesting. I didn't know what I want to do. I still probably don't really know what I want to do, but I like hearing all the different viewpoints, and it expands my horizons. And that's how we all should really try to be.
That's an interesting, the monogamy question. I mean, growing up in religion and even being an evangelist, like I've had a rough relationship with that because I'm different sexually. Like I'm not when I say different, like, again, I'm not going to label it because it's not labelable. It's just kind of what it is. It's more energy based, soul connections. Like, that's how I see attraction.
Mhm.
It's not about looks per se. It's about attitude and energy. And anyway,
Mhm.
uh, go off in a wild tangent. But one of the things for me, because I was, a swinger and sex clubs, and I was a sexual deviant, I was a chemsex addict. And then when I got sober, I went straight abstinent because I'm like, I don't even know what's real for me. And it took time, and it took a couple of years, and I was like, oh no, I'm still this way. like, like it wasn't the drugs after all. I'm still this way. And then I had to decide, okay, what's right for me? So it's weird because I am all for whatever. As long as no one's being hurt, it's not illegal, no
Mhm.
children are being hurt. Like I don't judge any of it. I don't care. But for myself, I've chosen monogamy for myself because I know it's what's actually best for me. One, I believe in soul ties. Absolutely. I could give you so many weird examples of proving soul ties are real. The energetic exchange, the changing of the DNA. I could give a 4-hour presentation on this.
Mhm.
And so then I got into this place. Well, as long as I find somebody with like-minded energy, then I can have a ethical non-monogamy or be an ethical swinger, whatever. But then I started to realize, oh, wait a second. This is a massive distraction for me because I really love sex. And if I know that it's okay for me to do this, then all of a sudden it's going to be like, well, now, like, whatever relationship I'm in, or if I'm trying to work, and it's like, well, I could just go on this sexcapade. So it became a distraction. And so, like, I knew for me what was right was monogamy, was finding somebody that I truly saw as an equal partner, a queen, and that we elevate each other. And it's about the purpose of why we're together, and then taking all that crazy energy and just pouring it into each other sexually. I've never done that in a relationship until now.
Mhm.
And it's been more fulfilling for me. I mean, do I still get all the crazy thoughts? Yes, I do. But for me, I've realized that monogamy is the right way forward, and the only way I really want to live my life, because it's the only way that I don't get distracted by my former deviancy. That, by the way, I never quit liking. I never stopped loving drugs. I never stopped loving crazy sex. I just found something that I loved more, and that was the purpose I was created for, and that's how I've been able to stay sober. The only way.
Mhm.
Only way.
Well, I think there is a lot in that because the bottom line is your life and your history is kind of made you decide something that was right for you. And that's really what I always say. Just let each individual decide what's right for them based on their specific journey. There's
Yeah.
no one size fits all. And for me, I mean, again, I'm really kind of undecided. I think that, when I meet the partner that's the right fit for me, it could be an entirely different story. But here's the thing, what I have equated monogamy with over my lifetime is complacency. And it doesn't have to be that. It's just what has shown up in my life. Oh, I've got her, so I don't need to worry about anything. I don't need to show up. She's not going anywhere. Like, we're good. That complacency. So to
I
me,
think, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, sorry. There's just like, to me, that's what it makes me think. I know in my heart of hearts that that's not necessarily true,
Yeah.
but that's just what I've seen. So that's just part of it for me. So this is part of what I'm writing about in my book. My new book is called Sex, Sovereignty, and Synchronicity.
Hmm.
Super excited about it. But anyway, so yeah, I'm curious to hear what you have to say about that.
Well, I think that, you, I, the I think that everyone ultimately has to do what they feel is best for them, because they are the ones that have to live with themselves. And any decision that we make, we're the ones that live with the consequences. And some people can live that life, and where it's an open relationship, non-monogamy, and thrive. Some people can thrive in that. Other people can't. But I don't think I think, to your point, it's not for anyone else to decide what is best for other people, especially, look, I'm a man of God, but I'm not religious. And I don't, like, we've no proof that all of these religious teachings from all of the different religions have any truth in them, or maybe there is some truth, but we don't know the source of the information. We don't know any of it. And through my own actions and even being an evangelist, like, again, I'm still a man of God, but the things that I learned being in ministry really wrecked my world. And I'm like, some of this crap is, well, crap, and it's a lie, and it's not true. And so I don't want to push anyone away from their faith, but ultimately, if you really think about it, think about your own life. Take religion out of it. Take all of that out. You're living your life and you're doing what you feel is right. And if it's not right, have you not ever gotten like some little subtle warning, whether it's from the universe or maybe it's a sickness or maybe you broke a bone,
Mhm.
but you ignored it and you keep on going and doing the same thing? What happens? The next consequence gets worse. So, and worse and worse and worse until you either get kicked in the nuts or you go, oh, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to do something different. Okay. You don't need religion for that to happen. Like that is God inside of you, the one that created you. That's like the internal compass. That's like, hey, I'm giving you the warning. This isn't right for you. Your body is a temple. You are a vessel. And so for me, going back to the monogamy thing, if I'm going to be a vessel, knowing what my instincts are, knowing what my animalistic tastes are like, I need to be able to have self control for me to thrive in all of the other areas I want. And when I become more open sexually, it gets really chaotic and my life gets out of control. That's a personal decision. At the same time, I'm friends with people that are still escorts, porn stars, and so on. Why? Because I work with people from all walks of life. There's no judgment. I get to hear their stories. I understand why people would not want to be monogamous 100%, especially with the way that a lot of women have been treated in their relationships.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. And I have to say my inkling is that I that's what I really want, but in a different way. In a very conscious relationship where
Mhm.
the partner shows up, that monogamy is a decision, not an ownership principle and not some
Yeah.
safety blanket that we just hang out under and don't show up every day. So I think that's what I really truly want. I'm not really interested in doing all crazy things, to be honest, but I think that I just want somebody to just show up and be present and not just think, oh, just because we're monogamous, I don't have to show up emotionally or anything.
Men need a healthy fear
Yeah.
in relationships. Like respect is a healthy fear. People in religion, they say you need to fear God.
Hmm.
Why? It's not out of, oh God, I'm going to be punished. It's respect.
Hmm.
Like I respect you enough to show up for you, to love you, to care for you. I care enough that that's and like fear shouldn't drive that, but at the same time, it should always be in the back of a man's head that if I raise a hand to her, if I raise my voice, if I lie, if I cheat, if I manipulate, if I gaslight, there is a fear that she's going to walk out the door and not look back. The problem is the problem, and you can have that in a relationship. You want a man to continually pursue you, he's got to know that you can walk out that door at any time. Period.
So true.
Period. Because
Yep.
a minute the man thinks he has conquered, the boundary game is over. You've lost the ability to establish boundaries. Reestablishing boundaries is very challenging. It's better to do it up front and keep them. And that from the very beginning, for men out or for ladies out there, they have to have a healthy fear of you leaving.
Oh
And
my
when
God.
they act bad and they act like little babies and they act immature or they lie to you or they gaslight you, cut it off. Remove contact. Stay away. Because that's the only way they're going to learn. Because the minute you give in, you're screwed. You're screwed. I don't, and I'm not trying to be mean at
Nope.
all.
You're
I'm
right.
telling you from experience because I was the best at this. I have all of the relationship failures. I have relationship success now, but I have all the failures to prove to you that I know what I'm. In fact, you can go talk to any of my ex-wives or ex-girlfriends. They're going to tell you. Um, but I've also worked really hard to heal and to become a better man. But these warnings I'm giving you, listen, I had multiple personality disorder, dissociative identity disorder, and thrived in a relationship. That is almost impossible. And even though I've healed from that now, I thrived because it can be done, but it takes communication, it takes boundaries, hardcore boundaries. And without them, your relationship has no success because men want to conquer and men want to own. And if you want a man to pursue you, to always be super into you, not get distracted by nonsense, he's got to know that you can walk out the door at any time.
That is like the mic drop right now. So I'm like, that's where this needs to like land, because that is a mic drop moment. And it's more powerful coming from a man than coming from a woman. Because how many women out there actually would walk away? I know I stayed too long in two relationships. I won't do that again. And that's because I found my power and I'm fine being alone. Because once you're comfortable, ladies out there, this is for you. If you're actually comfortable being alone, providing for yourself, sitting alone at dinner, sleeping by yourself, having no one to lean on emotionally for support. If you're fine alone, you are fucking invincible. And that is where I am right now. I don't care. I'm not single because I have to be. I have guys pursuing me. I'm just not in a relationship because you're not the right one. I make whatever I want out of it, work or whatever, but I am not going to just be with somebody. And this is not what most women do. They're just with somebody because, oh my God, I'm partnered. I have a husband. I'm sorry. I'm just going to make fun of them because a lot of women out there are doing this. And I don't care. This is Gloves Off After Dark. I'm going to say it like it is. I mean, really, they're just so proud of the ring on their finger and being partnered that they don't care what that partnership is costing them. And I'm not saying that's in every case, but I hate to say it, I think it's in a lot of cases that they're not really that thrilled about being partnered. That partnership isn't serving them except to just say, I'm partnered. I don't want that. I want a partnership to serve me and I serve it. That there's some growth, there's some beautiful things happening. We have both have our purpose. We both are elevating each other. We show up for each other. We're emotionally vested, physically vested, the whole thing. If I don't have that, I'm good. And that's where I think most women should eventually get to eventually call in the right thing. I know women look at me and they're like, oh, I've got a partner. You don't. That's fine. I don't want the partner you've got. Thank you.
It's a weird flex. Anyway.
I just got real riled up. You got riled up, then I got riled up.
No, not you. I'm talking about people like, I have a partner, you don't. That is like the most lame flex ever.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just, it happens a lot. They don't say it in words. But they say it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I know. I know what you mean.
So, and I'm just like, whatever, I could have many partners. I just don't want those. I'm waiting for the right one. I really am going to continue waiting for the right one.
Life is more fun when we celebrate each other's happiness and success and love and then also, and if the love fails or the relationship fails, life is more fun when we can show support instead of judging. I don't like I'm very competitive. I mean, I can't do yoga without trying to compete with some woman, a ballerina, which I have no business trying to compete. But like in my mind, I'm like, I'm gonna get you. It's how I am. It's so hard for me to not be that way.
I'm like that too.
I had a point. I lost it. Never mind. I was going somewhere with that, but anyway.
Anyway, I think you were trying to say that we should all be supportive of each other.
Yes. Oh, because everything is, there's just like there's sports competition and like social media and the trash talk and the vile and then just people lie on each other. Like, how is that fun? How is it fun to lie on someone else's name or to lie on what someone else did? Like, isn't it more fun to discuss what really happened instead of pretending something that happened and then discussing that? It just seems weird.
Oh, totally. Well, I think like that was the mic drop moment. Like, women know that let them know you can always leave. And this is not a game. This is just seriously, let them know that you will leave because you actually really, really would. And I think that's the perfect end. And now I'm going to be so excited because I'm going to be thinking about more discussions like this. Because for all of you out there, Josh and I are going to be doing this once a month. Typically, it's the last Sunday of the month that this episode airs. So if you enjoyed this content and you feel free to like, share, pass it on. This is going to be obviously on YouTube, and it's also on LinkedIn. So might be a little racy for LinkedIn. I'm like, wait a minute, maybe I don't put it
No,
on.
you should see some of the stuff I put there.
Oh, okay. All right. Wait a minute. I was like, maybe this shouldn't be on LinkedIn, but it is already. Whatever. Okay.
My original broadcasts were a little bit more extreme than what I do now. But
Anyway, so that's where you can watch it. So last Sunday of every month. And again, Josh, thank you so much for co-hosting this with me. It is so fun to talk about this stuff. So Josh and I started having these kind of conversations, and that's when we said, you know what? We need to do this on camera and do this in front of other people. Same thing happened with Carla and I, which is interesting how these things happen. Carla and I are about to launch a podcast, Unbound and Uncensored. So that should be launching sometime in October. I haven't finalized everything yet. So keep an eye out for that one too, because that's going to be fun. So thanks, Josh. You guys, all of you, thanks so much for watching. Have a great day or night, I should say.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time. Gloves Off will be continuing as normal every Sunday. Gloves Off After Dark, the last Sunday of the month. Bye, everyone.